Episode 1 Impressions Night. Woo! Woo! Okay, I'm done. I'm going to be doing 2 first episode impressions today. I'm going to start off with Super Megaforce, and I'll do Tokyuger after this. Alright, I know I'm really late on this one, actually. I'm almost 2 weeks late, if you want to be precise with it. But I wanted to let it cool down a little bit. I don't know why, it's the first episode. I kind of want to get that out ASAP, but... Oh. So, we have finally reached the true 20th anniversary season. Yay, about time, took us a year. Gokaiger's adaptation is finally among us, and, yeah, it was definitely a step up from Megaforce, because I've already talked about Megaforce, and even though there were some things about it that I liked, overall, Megaforce was really flat and dry, which was its problem. It didn't have anything going for it, good or bad. Not like Space, where it had the psychos and the great villains, and then you got like Overdrive, which had everybody was a complete idiot, and Turbo had the annoying villain Divatox and stuff. Megaforce had nothing going for it, good or bad. It was just a flat line. It was as dry as you could get it. So, how did Super Megaforce Episode 1 fare compared to what we've seen of Megaforce? Pretty good, actually. I'm trying to figure out how I want to put my words here. I was thinking about how I wanted to describe the first episode, like a couple minutes ago before I came in here to do this. And I think I found a pretty good way to put it. I want to talk about a few things. I'm not going to go over the story like I did with Megaforce. I'm just going to, talk about the things that they change, the things that feel right, the things that don't feel right, and my expectations for the rest of Super Megaforce. First off, I want to talk about the villains, specifically Prince Vecker. I haven't spoken my true... Dang it, Frankie. I'm in the middle of something. I haven't spoken my true overall thoughts on Gokaiger here yet, but I have seeped out opinions and stuff. And if you've been paying attention to those, you will know that I'm not the biggest fan of Gokaiger by a long shot. If anything, I have more problems with Gokaiger than I do things that I like about it. I'll get to that when I get to that, and that won't be for a while before I talk about Gokaiger in its entirety. But let me just put it this way, I don't like Gokaiger all that much. And one of the reasons was because the villains were awful. They really had no purpose being there. And Ward's Gill was the epitome of it. He was literally the Sentai equivalent of Divatox. He was a prissy boy that every time he lost, he threw a temper tantrum. And I couldn't stand that guy at all. He was just bad. He was a crybaby. That's why I compare him to Divatox, because every time Divatox lost, she started flailing her arms around, kicking people and all this pizzazz. And Wars Guild kind of did the same thing. But Prince Vecker came off as a completely different character. Well, first off, his voice sounded more confident. He also felt like an actual war general. Like, he was a prince and a war general at the same time, and he came off as that. After the Rangers killed his first soldier, he didn't... Oh my god, I want these guys dead. He's immediately ordered the next soldier to go down and attack that same location. Like, he knew what he was doing. And he gave off a great first impression of this. The other two I really can't say anything about because we didn't really learn anything about, I forgot their names. The robot and the green girl. I don't even know their names in Gokaiger. That's how irrelevant they were. But, I did like how the villains presented themselves in the first episode. I really did. So I've got high hopes for them there, and I'm already liking them more than I did the Gokaiger villains. That's not saying much, but it's something. Second of all was the characters themselves. Now, I established in Megaforce that they were kind of trying to emulate Mighty Morphin's characters, with Noah being the Billy and Troy being the Jason and uh, Emma being the Kimberly and all this stuff. But when I was watching the fight scenes here, oh my God, Frankie's gonna be that guy today. That's the second time he's tried to Skype call me. But after watching this episode and the fight scenes, something hit me. And I don't know if I'm the only one that saw this or not, but it seemed like the characters belonged here in the Gokaiger footage more than they did the Goseiger footage. Now, I've only seen Goseiger's first episode. That's it. And I don't have much to go by, but I have seen 99 Great Hero War, the Gokaiger, Goseiger movie. And Troy is meant to be kind of like the quiet, serious leader. And when he does talk, it's kind of bleh. But Alita, what I got of him is that he was very upbeat and optimistic, and that's not what Troy is. And then you look at Gosei Black and compare him to Jake's personality. Gosei Black seems to be the most hard-headed, serious member of Goseiger, but Jake is a goofball. So he felt at home in the Gokai green suit more than the Gosei Black suit. I can kind of see Noah fitting in this role. Kind of. Because Noah always kind of... He was like the most straightforward, serious-esque member of the Megaforce Rangers. And last time I checked, that's what Gosei Blue was. So I think he's going to fit in fine just in his role. I already forgot her name. How did I forget her name? Yellow. Gia. Thank you. How did I forget her name? Gia felt like Luca. Like, I'm not going to lie. I felt that she was the one that fit the Sentai role perfectly. She felt, sounded, and acted like Luca. I got so many vibes of Luca from her that she just fit perfectly. Same with Emma adapting Aim's style. She's like the little soft girl, and it worked. But I seriously do mean I felt like these characters' roles and personalities and stuff fit better in the Gokaiger suits. That's going to be upsetting to people that love Gokaiger, because Gokaiger's the almighty holy grail of Sentai, and thou shall never badmouth it. That's basically how people are to Gokaiger. It's like the holy grail or something, and that's kind of one reason why I don't like Gokaiger, because it doesn't deserve all that praise, honestly. But I really do think that they fit better in this situation. Now, about Troy, some people consider him the worst Red Ranger. I still think it's Mac, for obvious reasons. I've been over this plenty of times, and I don't want to go over it anymore, and I have to. But he felt more red in this episode, if that makes any sense. I don't know if it's because of the Gokaiger footage and Marvelous being so pushy and demanding and, you know, general-esque with him being him, that they wrote Troy better to fit this footage than they did the Goseiger footage. But I felt like Troy's character popped better here. I don't know why I think this. Now, a lot of people think that Troy is still a cruddy ranger, but I honestly felt like he was more of a leader in this episode than he was in the entirety of Megaforce. There was just something about him here. He was basically leading the other rangers around, and it seemed to fit him better. Like, he's meant to be the quiet leader. And I think when you put him into the suit using footage of a Red Ranger that was very pushy, like Marvelous was, I think it fits him better, because I don't picture Alita or Gosei Red as the pushy leader type. I really don't, but I see it from Marvelous. all in all, I just felt like the characters fit better in the positions they were put into here. Now, even though I don't like Ghost Sager, I'll admit Troy isn't marvelous, that's for sure, but his character popped more. And I can say that about all of them. The team harmony was there, but then again, that's because Gokaiger had a lot of those switching weapon things and all that, so I think it just played into this. I think the Gokaiger footage is just working better for them than the Gosager footage is, but then again, that's probably because Gosager's god-awful from every every opinion and review I've seen and read about Gosager. Gosager's pretty bad. So I think the fact that they're just using Gokaiger footage is helping Super Megaforce in its own right also. And also I want to talk about one more thing, and that's the use of music. Now, I didn't say anything about the music in Megaforce because Megaforce's soundtrack was kind of forgettable outside of the main theme, which hasn't changed yet, but there's just something about... I want to talk about that first real quick now that I think about it. It's the exact same theme as we got from Megaforce, but there's just something about the clips and the edits and transitions and stuff that they used in this intro that just made this theme better, if that makes any sense. There's a lot of cool shots of them like running over the beach in the sunset and seeing like unmorphed footage against the X-Borgs and stuff, and cool Gokaiger footage. And then at the very end, they had this really nice shot of them like centering down on the Legend War footage before they went into probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen in any Power Rangers intro, and that is what people that I've talked to and stuff have called the helmet shuffle. Like, it's like a little helmet slot machine shuffling through as many Ranger helmets as possible. And I like how it starts off, though. It shows the Legend War footage, and then you see the White Ranger helmet come in. He backs up, and then the helmet spreads out into the 5 main Mighty Morphin helmets. And then it begins to cycle through the Alien Rangers, Zeo, Turbo, Space, all the way until they all line up to the Super Megaforce helmets. And then it pops up with the logo. And there's just something about that little effect at the end of the theme song that's just amazing. I have one complaint about it, though. Andros was the only Red Ranger that wasn't put up front. And if you know me, Andros is my favorite all-time Power Ranger, so this is kind of annoying me. Out of all the Red Rangers you leave out Andros. Way to go, guys, way to go. But it doesn't take away from how amazing that little sequence is, from showing the war going to that little helmet slot machine thing. I just love how that looks, and the first time I saw it, I was jumping in my chair because it was just so sweet. And the soundtrack, going back to the actual in-show soundtrack, when they changed into the Super Megaforce suits for the same time, and they started the fight footage, there was this heavy guitar song going on in the background that was very, very reminiscent of the Mighty Morphin days, with the hard rock and Wasserman style guitar music. And it was a really heavy rocking guitar song going on here. And it really atmospherically fit with the fight scene. And then when they decided to go into the changes, which I have something to say about that too, so that's another thing I got to talk about. Then they built up like this slowly, like dramatically increasing pitch raising, or volume increasing rock song that made everything sound almighty and epic. I don't like using the word epic because it is a word that's blown out of proportion, but that's the only thing I can think of here. Like, an almighty epic event's about to happen. And it seriously worked towards it, even though I haven't seen Samurai, and Samurai I know isn't going to be in my top 5 best Power Ranger seasons. But there's just something about them turning the Samurai keys for the first time with that guitar part going that just made it seem like an historic occasion, which it kind of was, because it was the first change of Power Rangers. And what helped it even better is that they said Go-Go Samurai, which was their morphing call. And then they brought out the Mystic Force keys, and they said Magical Source Mystic Force, the Mystic Force morph call. And the first two changes into Samurai and Mystic Force were just so well done. Yeah, you don't have the Shin Kenja and Maji Ranger like you did in Gokaiger, but I think adding the morphing calls, them yelling the morphing calls, is just as good. Because I haven't seen Mystic Force yet, but Magical Source Mystic Force is one of my personal favorite morphing calls just because it sounds really awesome. And to hear them say that was just so good. Now, granted, they didn't say SPD Emergency or, well, I can understand why they didn't say Ninja Storms, because they would have to say Samurai form, Ranger form, and Thunderstorm Ranger form, which would probably take up a lot of time. But in the SPD one, they changed in the explosion, so they probably didn't have time to say SPD Emergency. But if this is a thing that continues, where they say, let's rocket, or Dino Thunder power up, or overdrive accelerate, or RPM get in gear, stuff like that, throughout the entirety of Super Megaforce, it's going to help. It's going to help a lot. But there were so many things right about this episode. It felt like a dramatic, I don't think dramatic is the word I want to use there, but a dramatic improvement. Yeah, dramatic's not the word I want to use there. Tremendous improvement. There we go. It's not like it got better and you're like, oh, soap opera style. He got better. No, it was a very, very strong improvement over what Megaforce was. Megaforce came off as very flat and dry and no sense of spark. But Super Megaforce came in and just set the room on fire. It was exciting to watch. It felt more relevant to the story than Gokaiger's first episode did, that's for sure. Our world's under attack. Here's the new powers that you'll need to help fight these monsters, to fight this alien force off. And you just felt their will to save Earth in their fighting. And Gokaiger was, they blew up my lunch. I'm butt mad. I'm gonna go kill these guys because they killed my food. Way to go, Marvelous. I mean, I know they're pirates and it fits their motif, but I felt Super Megaforce's reason for fighting felt more realistic or true to what would actually happen. Just because that's how they are doesn't mean I have to like it, Gokaiger fanboys. Gokaiger's relevancy when it came to story episodes didn't mean anything until like the last 7 episodes. It really didn't. But all in all, I think the only hiccup this episode has was the ending. As cool as it was to homage to Troy's line at the beginning of Mega Mission, where he said the human race was the species that would outlast all others. It was a nice little callback, but I think it would have worked better as the last thing said in Super Megaforce at the end of the last episode. I think that they used that line a bit too early, because it would have been a fantastic way to close out Super Megaforce if they had done that. And the whole burly, your students need you, all this stuff. I think that line and that whole little school thing at the end would have been the best way to close Super Megaforce, not to end the first episode, but it be the very finale of Super Megaforce. As soon as the Legend War is all done, this is the last scene we get of Super Megaforce, is them in school, and he says, I'm proud of you for, outlasting this and everything. If they had saved it for that, it would have been one of the best scenes in Power Rangers. I honestly believe it. But I don't think it belonged at the ending of the first episode. That's my only gripe with the first episode. And I think it was just a misplacement of footage, honestly. But all in all, I'm hyped. I'm excited. I can't wait to see how Super Megaforce unfolds, and I'm dead excited for the Legend War, because I'm going to tick off a lot of people for saying this, but I don't think the Sentai Legend War was all that great. I'm not talking about the entire movie. I'm talking about the actual war part, like the first 4.5 minutes of the movie with all the Ranger teams together. I didn't think it was that impressive, and I have my reasons. I have a lot of reasons for thinking this. I don't even consider that the best part of the movie. I think the best part of that movie was when the Ghost Sagers and Go-Kaisers teamed up to kill the other Ranger team, just because that was so melodramatic, seeing two teams beat up the other 33. And there's a lot of things that the Sentai War could have been improved on. Like, there are a lot of things. And I have high hopes that the Power Rangers War will outdo it. I'm not gonna lie. I think the Power Rangers War can and maybe will outdo the Sentai War. And I've already gotten tons of hate comments for saying that in other places. Because Go-Kaiser's best thing ever. It's a sin for you to say anything bad about it. That's just how people are with Go-Kaiser. It's the best thing ever made. So there's my thoughts on Super Megaforce Episode 1. I'm excited and I'm looking forward to seeing where this is going.